About a few days ago, I came across this tweet talking about a particular law called Goodharts Law, and this really caught my attention. I read through this tweet and then stored it into my organization app. But then, after making a deeper reading on this law, I decided to make a video on it and share it with you all because this law actually applies to various fields and areas that makes up our society. This law is named after a British economist, Charles Goodharts, and the law states that any observed statistical regularity will tend to collapse once pressure is placed upon it for control purposes. Yeah, I know this might be hard to understand at a first glance, but this law has been rephrased by a lot of people in relation to their fields. But one that I really love is that of Marilee Stratton. In simple terms, Goodhart's law states that once a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. Now, to give you a clearer understanding of what Goodhart's law really is, let me explain it with a short story. The manager of a new manufacturing company implemented a new policy and then told his workers that they'll be receiving an incentive if they could increase the number of nails produced daily by 20%. This policy worked pretty well, and the number of nails produced by the factory increased. But then, the manager discovered that the nails produced by the factory actually decreased in size and were very tiny. He then implemented a new policy and told the workers that they'll be receiving an incentive if they could increase the weight of the nails produced. Again, this policy worked well, but then the manager discovered that the nails produced by the workers were actually very heavy and few in numbers. The manager was very frustrated as to what to do to make the workers produce the nails at the right size and right number. What the manager doesn't know is that he was experiencing the effects of Goodhart's law. When we set a specific goal, people will optimize for that objective regardless of the consequences. In the first instance, the manager made the workers value quantity over quality when he asked for increased production. And in the second instance, the manager made the workers value quality over quantity when he asked for increased weight. And this is the effect of Goodhart's law. When we use one metric to measure the success or performance of a particular situation, we neglect other aspects of that situation which are equally important. A very good example of the effect of Goodhart's law can be seen in the education system. In schools, the one metric used to determine success is the grades of the students. That is, the students have only one goal: get good grades. Hence, we see common cases of students cramming for tests and exams in order to get high grades, and this is done to the detriment of other important factors when it comes to getting a good education. Another example is in search engine optimization. For many years, Google used the number of backlinks a web page has to determine the quality of that web page. But then we see Goodhart's law play again in this example. People started implementing various ways to increase backlinks. Some even exchanged backlinks or built websites with numerous backlinks. But then Google eventually found out and modified its search algorithm. But what we can learn from this example is that Google used backlinks as the one metric for determining the success or the quality of a web page, thereby neglecting other important factors like the quality of the content in that web page. One thing you need to understand is that people would always anticipate the effect of a policy and would take actions that will alter its outcomes. From the examples I've given, you can see that the effect of Goodhart's law spans across various fields and areas. But one recurring problem we can see from these examples is that the administrations are always trying to use one metric to measure the success or performance of a situation. Now, how can you avoid Goodhart's law and the unintended consequences of measuring success and performance? Try as much as possible to find the right way for measuring success or performance. In as much as people always love using one metric to determine the success of a situation, it has proven to be inefficient in so many cases. Hence, it is better to use multiple metrics to find a solution to a problem. Also, have it at the back of your mind that using only one factor to determine the success or performance of a situation will deter other equally important factors. Also, people will always try to maximize whatever measurement you use in gauging success. Lastly, always remember Goodharts Law. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed this video and you actually learned something new, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell in order to be aware when next I upload a new video. Thanks.